Hello everyone, welcome to the Secret Morgue 3.1. Good to see you. I guess I told Matt to say it, but I'll say it. It's pretty funny though, because you showed the Cujo trailer, so it was pretty funny because Stephen King said this is the worst horror movie he's ever seen in his entire life. So just to give you an idea, that means it's going to be awesome. Yes. Okay, so cats. Let's talk about the domestic cat. I know you want to hear about the big cats, the tigers, the lions. No, the domestic cat, right? In your house, prowling, stalking you constantly. So the scientific classification for the cat is Felis catus. I love that. That's a great name. Before I tell you the stats, which are ridiculous, I'd like to sort of ask, how many animals do domestic cats kill in 1 year? Do we have any guesses?
I think it's like a lot of, because I know they're like the #1 killer of birds. So I think it's like 1 billion.
1 billion, okay, 1 billion, what do we think? 1 billion? Sound about right? 20 million? Okay. All right. Okay, so to give you an idea, how many cats are there on Earth? How about that?
Hundreds of millions?
Hundreds of millions. And you're good, man. You guys good. Okay. 600 million domestic cats on Earth. 220 million are like in your house and prowling around and owned by humans. And then 480 million are stray cats. Okay, so now this billion figure is sounding a little bit better. All right, let's hear it. 2021 estimate, public survey estimated that outdoor cats kill 1 to 5 billion invertebrates, 1 to 3 billion fishes, 1 to 3 billion amphibians, 1 to 4 billion... Are you hearing this? 1 to 4 billion reptiles. Wait, what is it? 2 to 5 billion birds, and 3 to 9 billion mammals every year. Yes. Yeah, oh, they're so cute. Yeah, okay. Freaks. Okay, so, as a consequence, cats have been named a serious threat to biodiversity on Earth. They are an invasive species and are an apex predator. Okay, counter to popular belief, it wasn't the Egyptians who originally domesticated the cat in 3000 BC. It was actually domesticated in Western Asia in 7500 BC. So cats have also led to the extinction of 63 known species. So yes, 63 known species obliterated off the face of the earth, all because he wanted a cute little kitty. Isn't that nice? Humans are very selfish. That's what I've learned from this cat thing. Okay, so some of the older studies in neuroscience, some very popular studies from the 40s and 50s, they would take these electrodes, stimulating electrodes, they put electricity in a certain part of the brain and stimulate the neurons in an area called the hypothalamus. So the hypothalamus is responsible for things like flight or flight responses and things like that. So what you find is when you do that to a cat, you can immediately make the cat hiss and try to bite you. Yes, that's what the scientists learned. You stimulate this part of the brain immediately. So that is a very interesting finding that changed our knowledge of the brain. Another really interesting study which shows us how precise the visual system of the cat is. In 1981, the Nobel Prize was won by Hubel and Wiesel for the study of vision in cats. So they put some electrodes to measure the activity in the visual cortex and found that cats have a very precise response to lights that are oriented in different ways. So they take a little bar of light and they put it in front of the cat's eye, and you'll hear the cells firing, and then they'll change the orientation of the light, and different cells will fire. So we actually mapped out the visual system using cats originally, and eventually macaque monkeys. So another one of my favorite studies in cats in neuroscience is that if you raise a cat in a box, okay, you raise a cat in a box, and it only has vertical lines, okay, so there's like a black line and a white line and a black line and a white line, all vertical lines, okay? Then you raise it there for like a year or two or something like that, and then you put it in a box with horizontal lines. The cats will just run into the walls repeatedly because they can no longer see horizontal lines. So what this teaches us is actually, this is a lesson in what's called neuroplasticity, okay? Which is basically if you develop in a certain environment, okay, then your brain becomes so attuned to that environment that it'll no longer be able to perceive other things. So that study was also a huge step in neuroscience to show that the brain is constantly adapting in a plastic way, okay? The third study for cats. Okay, this is a weird one, so come along with me here. Okay, so you got this circular wagon thing. It's like a wagon that goes in a circle, okay? And then you have a cat which is pulling the wagon. It's like got it on its leash or something like that. And then you put another cat in the wagon. So you've got two cats. One's pulling the wagon, the other one's riding along. Okay, isn't that so nice for that cat? Now, what happens is that the cat pulling the wagon learns how to see. The cat in the wagon does not. Okay? So the other lessons that cats have taught us is that in order to perceive, you must act, okay? These are very active creatures. If you're just constantly being carried around, what's the point? Why should your plastic brain even pay attention to these things? So that's another really interesting cat study that I really enjoy that was held in Hines, 1963. Okay, so cats also have a highly specialized visual system for recognizing motion. Okay, so my classic example is, has anyone ever taken a laser pointer and like shined it on the wall and then made your cat completely lose their mind? Yes, you've done it. Okay, so why does that happen, right? So essentially there's these areas of the cat brain and the human brain and many other brains that are responsible for recognizing what's called biological motion. That is, the motion of living things, okay? So when you're moving that laser around, you're essentially hijacking that part of the brain, okay? And it essentially we don't know for sure whether or not it thinks that the laser is alive. It could be something like a bug or something like that, an insect, so they're constantly swatting at it. But it could also be that the cats are indeed, it's sort of like a vestige predator instinct for play. So they may indeed be playing, but humans sort of naively think we're playing with them, but they could just be trying to kill insects. That seems more like how cats actually are. The brain area that's also being hijacked is called the superior colliculus, okay? And that's basically what that is when you see a visual stimulus, you look at it, right? So like, there's an exit sign over there. I'm gonna look at it. Okay, now if you hear a sound, right, you may look at where the sound comes from. So this superior colliculus allows you to route sensory information to motor information so cats can dart their head back and forth to look at your laser as you're shining it on the floor. So just in case you wanted to know about that. All right. Beyond vision, cats also have sensitive pads on their feet so that they can sense vibrations, which is often why cats can cross the street, because when a car is coming, they can feel it using the pads on their feet. Elephants do that too, actually. It's pretty cool. And last but not least, cats' sense of hearing is extraordinary. They're capable of hearing ultrasonic frequencies. And what's interesting about that is, so rodents, when they scream in distress, they emit an ultrasonic frequency, right? So humans can't hear it, but cats can, which means that cats have evolved the ability to hear their victims scream. All right, that's it for me. See you later.